Ludmilla's teddy bear. You're bringing it with you for luck, Yuri. Her parting gift when you divvied up your pack and saw the rest off to their snowy ascent. That old back again. Better now after 4 weeks. But here in Ivdel's morgue, it's not the stricken back that brings you to your knees in spasms of pain. No, poor Yuri. It's the 5 clumped horrors that patiently await your luckless tag. Many times you will wake up in the night, shivering there in the tent you never shared. But where is she? Where is Luda? Not yet. The snow will give her up only in May's thaw, reaching down where probes could not, 10 feet of snow, down to the stream's bank. Tucked under a cap, her blonde braid, a blue ribbon primly intertwined, but empty the sockets that held her pretty eyes, missing the tongue that gave voice to her song. Foul the flesh the waters leached bloodless, and what could have crushed 11 of her ribs? One snapped and pierced her heart. Ivdel was a busy village, all the bands of trekkers eager to brave the Siberian high country and suffer the gain of those arrogant peaks. Maybe one craves release from the hounding, from the threats. Let us confront fears of our own choosing. Maybe one wants to be reassured freedom is still attainable, and then shoulder hard into the adventure of it. And what of beauty's bestowal of its own kind of freedom when the crystalline vistas clear and sun summons the blood? The morgue photo shows his muscular frame, reduced to the slimness of a negative, where snow has leveled the wrinkles of his coat and caked in the contours of rustic Slobodin's handsome face. Mother, your keening at the funeral, your incantation, Rustem, 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 will not dissolve the crystals that stiffen his lashes and lock his lungs, will not restring the mandolin he played for love songs round the campfire. You've done so well, Thibault. Ah, the fondness in that nickname. Nikolai Thibault Brignol is such a mouthful. Imagine, born in a prison camp, and now a Ural Polytechnical Institute grad, working as an engineer at only 23. We saw film from the recovered cameras. What a puckish twinkle in your eye. But neither your 2 wristwatches, both stopped a bit after 8. No, nor your excellent maps could delay or divert the cruelty of whatever shuddered that twinkle, whatever stove in your right temple, whatever dragged you under the icy waters of the Auspia. Why were you out there with those kids, mustachioed Semyon, defender of Stalingrad, already with a coveted red star for your proud chest, now crushed by the trunk of some aged Siberian fir? You hoped there were freedoms nobler than the freedom to kill in the wilderness of war. Mother Russia will mourn her hero, and maybe Zina, she of the tattoo on your right hand. A ski instructor at UPI would have been perfect. Could you have taken on that new job with empty eye sockets? Georgy Krivanashenko, mandolist sans mandolin, artist leaving us only slashed canvas, dead of the cold with leg burns black to the bone. You are a mystery, more than most of us. The Ural wind in January can rip skier from skis, but Georgie, You gulped down its freshness, free of the plutonium dust of Christendom, where you were a scrubber of the waste. Alas, spared Chernobyl. SYOORPREEZ, SASHA! We packed a tangerine to celebrate your birthday. As flames torched the Gothic night, all supped a Eucharist of wedges. But Alexander, January the 30th? You were born in November, a fourth-year physics student at UPI, but before that, a metallurgist in Moscow. Do the others know? Well, what difference does it make? Skier among skiers, brave among the brave, interlinked against death. That's all that counts now on this climb up Mount Otorten. Then another SYOORPREEZ, but grim, unholy. A betrayal from outside the campfire bond and the tense, wound-tough membrane. A blow to your throat silenced you. A blow to the base of your skull silenced you forever. Done with glass blowing, done with pipe collecting, done with the radiation in your clothing was downgraded in that stream, which percolated your flesh into something like the pulp of a tangerine. Still, the bonds of death are sturdy, too. The militia station at POLUNOCHNOE heard the news of the sightings. 6 bodies brought to the prison camp outside Ivdel, where she saw burnt hair, the nurse from Central Hospital. It was February the 6th, and it was your hair, Yurka. Then February the 26th, you were found again. That time it was official. You and Georgie, by the cedar and the doused campfire. The Mansi hunters don't just track deer, but they are unofficial. Rugged survivors who, in their yurts, serve hot tea to hikers off course. You 9 saw their campsites and followed their trails along the Lozva. They tracked you in turn, and others. The Karelin hikers, the Shumkov hikers, the geologists. They counted the flyovers and helped mark out the helipads. Yes, they know all the whereabouts, but think it best to keep counsel only with the trees they carve code into. Yuri Doroshenko, you never were lost. The diaries, those transfusions that resurrect you from the drifts, you 9, reincarnate your frost-stripped bones, redden those lips so that we hear again in embers and fog your stories of loves that once were, your delvings into death that once was so distant. Semyon was diligent to the last, found with pen and sodden notebook clutched in fingers rotted to sticks. Pity in the slipshod cataloging. Some pages flew off into the thin, icy air that split the lips of the searcher horde. Bless you, ZINA, for supplying diaries to all, yourself journaling so meticulously. We talked to school children. Then they all saw us off, even bursting into tears. That's what you wrote in Serov, ZINA. In Ivdel, this. We went to see the movie Symphony in Gold. In the logging village, this. Today, I wore Yuri's mittens. Rustic plays the mandolin very well. Everyone is singing. The workers living in the barracks did not go to work. They sing. We watched Symphony in Gold again. Today is the last day of civilization. From these workers, Ognev the Beard, and others, you must have picked up those mancy words you listed. Your favorites we can only guess. Palten, heat. Nul, meat. Saka, good. Kutya, dog. And maybe your very favorite, Pispis, a mouse. Elsewhere, of rude Igor, I just couldn't recognize him. I had to sleep on the wood near the stove. And yet another entry, burning firewood with Yurka. We talked about the past. Such a playboy. Playboy, but long-time beau. You had confided to a friend that it was going to be awkward to have Doroshenko join the group, that you had felt jealous seeing him hold hands with another girl waiting for the train to Vizhay. The thing with Igor was recent, but already your brittle picture would be found in his coat turned shroud. And there you were, your body close by, when a Kutya sniffed you out. A stone memorial stands on a taiga depression, now called the Dyatlov Pass, bearing your name, Igor, radio engineer, whose radio was banned by the sports club to raise your submitted route to level 3. Yuri Blinov, the one who could barely mumble, "That's Igor's," the boot left behind in the tent. He spent weary hours, no, days, with the many search parties crisscrossing the slopes. Like you, Igor, he had headed up an approved team which traveled with you as far as Vizhay, where the farewells were heartfelt and final. But Igor, much proven on these trails, your skiers had chosen you to lead. Who better than Igor Dyatlov, the visionary, the inventor, the hale, the hardy, the lover? Stubborn, yes, but who more trustworthy? After all, this was level 3. A semester break in dead of winter when snow was deepest, temps -0, Ural blizzards matching, as you journaled, a jet engine thrust. How conquer harsh Siberia on skis cutting deep under 30-pound packs without you, Igor, signaling when and where to unhitch from yaks back to humans, to stake and anchor 2 tents, sewn 1, shed layers of coats and ski pants, hang the wood-burning heater, and set the table of cocoa, crackers, and canned meat. How ready for that all were when February had caught up to a blind sundown, when you had driven them to the added exertion of hollowing out the LUDMILLA'S storage to reduce tomorrow's load for the climb's final push. Say, though, a tent roof heater doesn't unhook, clean out, and disassemble itself, does it, Igor? No, not after any midnight of any second day of any February, ever. And hell, you invented the thing. Like frozen cream atop an old-fashioned milk bottle, those upwelled prints of booted feet the wind brushed free. In whose boots, then, do we slog through the heavy drifts, bent into the jet engine gale, past the icy entombments of ZINA, Igor, and Rustem, down toward the cedar-shaded corpses of Georgie and Yuri, toward the curious snow den by the Auspia Creek, where Luda, Semyon, Thibaut, and Sasha lie half immersed? The 9 had fled an overwhelming force, feet unshod, socks welded to skin by polar rime. Whose boots?